Okay, good morning. Hope you all had a nice half term, and here we are looking at the first lesson from this half term. So I thought I'd do a video on indices. So it's still sunny. Look at that rose. It's lovely, isn't it? Very rosy and bright. So here we are. Right, indices. Now, okay, can try and cover this up to quite a high level, so we'll see how that goes. So starting with basic powers. Squared, we all know squared. Squared is anything times itself. Cubed, anything times itself 3 times. Power of 4 times itself 4 times. So these are called out index powers, okay? So they're the amount of times you multiply that by itself. So here, x times x, x squared, x times x times x, x cubed, etc. Okay, so those are your basic powers. There are rules of indices. Now, when we're multiplying, see if I was going to multiply 2 to the power of 4 by 2 to the power of 3, well that means that's 2 times itself 4 times, 2 times 2 times 2 times 2, times 3 times 3 times 3. So how many 2's have I got multiplied all together? 7. Okay? The rule is when you multiply you add the powers because you've got that many lots plus that many lots. So x5 times x3 is x8. Okay? So your base must be the same. So it only works if you've got like that, those are both 2's. If that was a 2 and that was a 3, you wouldn't be able to use the rules. When you're dividing, you take away. So when you're multiplying, you add the powers. When you're dividing, you take them away. Okay? Because you're effectively dividing, so you're cancelling out. So here I've got 2 to the power of 4 divided by 2 to the power of 3, which means those 3 cancel out with 4 of those, leaving you just 1, which you can just write as 2. Okay, it's 2 to the power of 1. We don't bother writing the power of 1 because it just means that times itself once, which is just that. So x5 divided by x3, 5 minus 3 is 2. So when you're dividing, you take away the powers. When you're multiplying, you add them. Okay, the other rule is a power to a power. So if you've got an index to a further power, and in that case you multiply them. So if I had 2 to the power of 4 all cubed, what I actually mean is 2 to the power of 4 times itself 3 times. So 2 to the power of 4 times 2 to the power of 4 times 2 to the power of 4, which is why you then have 3 lots of that and you multiply. Same as x to the power of 5 all to the power of 3 is x to 15. So, to recap, when you've got a power to a power you multiply, when you're dividing you take away, and when you are multiplying you add. Those are your 3 rules of indices. Right, combinations. So they could say to you, you've got 3 5 times 3 squared divided by 3 cubed. Do the top first. So you're multiplying, so you add the powers to give you 3 to the power of 7. 3 to the power of 7 divided by 3 to the power of 3 is 3 to the power of 4. Here, do the top first. Multiplying, so you add them to get y to the 11. Y to the 11 divided by y to the 4 is y to the 7. When you've got a power to a further power, times that. So do the power to the power first. The rule there is you do 4 times 3 to get 12. Then a12 times a squared. The rule is that you would add them to get a14. Okay, now, where are we? Simplifying expressions. So when you're simplifying expressions, they're involving algebra as well as numbers. So if I've got 3x squared times 4x to the power of 5, you could rewrite that as 3 times 4 times x squared times x to the power of 5. Well, 3 times 4 is just 12. x2 times x5 is x7. So see what I did? I did the rules of indices with the indices, and then I just used normal multiplication with the numbers in front. Similarly here, if I'm dividing, so 8 divided by 2 is 4, then x5 divided by x3, or x cubed, is x to the power of 2, because we do 5 minus 3 to get 2. Okay, power to a power. Here I've got this squared, so it effectively is that times that. 3 times 3 is 9. X squared times x squared is x to the power of 4. So again, you use normal rules for the number, and you use your powers of indices, your indices rules for your indices. This one, 8 times 2 is 16. x4 times x3 is x to 7. So I'm now left with 16x7 divided by 4x. 16 divided by 4 is 4. x7 divided by x is x to the power of 6. Right, now an extension only for the brave. Okay, now this is fractional powers. To power of a half doesn't mean it's a half of it, it means the square root. So 4 to the power of a half is square root of 4, which is 2. 16 to the power of a half is square root of 16, which is 4. Remember, square root of something means what number times itself gives you that. So 4 4 is 16, that's why square root of 16 is 4. 2 2 is 4, that's why square root of 4 is 2. Power of a third means cubed root, means what number times itself 3 times, okay? So 64 to the power of a third, cubed root of 64 is 4, because 4 times 4 times 4 is 64. 27 to the power of a third, cubed root of 27. What number times itself 3 times is 27? It's actually 3. And another one, 125 to the power of a third, cubed root of 125. What number times itself 3 times is 125? The answer is 5. So those are fractional powers. A further extension is on negative powers. Now we would call these reciprocals. A reciprocal just means 1 over. So reciprocal, and it's a power of -1, okay? So a reciprocal is a negative power. So 3 to the -1, just 1 over 3. 8 to the -1, 1 over 8. See what I'm doing? I'm just putting it underneath 1. X to the -1, 1 over x. Smiley face to the -1, 1 over smiley face. 700 to the -1, 1 over 700. Now, if the -1 changes and it is still a minus, then another number, okay? Here, all we did was we just went, put it under 1. If we've got -2, first thing you do is just put it under 1. So 3 to the -2 becomes 1 over 3 squared. 8 to the -2 becomes 1 over 8 squared. X to the -2 becomes 1 over x squared. 4 to the -3 becomes 1 over 4 cubed. So look at what I'm doing. I'm just getting rid of the minus and taking the reciprocal of whatever I've got. Now what I then do is I then need to simplify it. 1 over 3 squared, well 3 squared is 9. 1 over 8 squared is 64. 1 over x squared you can't simplify because you don't know the value of x. 1 over 4 cubed, 4 times 4 times 4 is 64. You can combine. Now this is super high level. If you've got a reciprocal and a fractional power, so first thing you do, reciprocal, the negative power, put it 1 over. So 9 to the power of half minus a half is 1 over 9 to the half. We know that a half means square root, and square root of 9 is 3. 27 to the minus a third means cubed root of 27, 1 over because of a negative power, and 3 times 3 times 3 is 27, that's why it's a third. Right, okay, well done, and I hope that made sense. I'll set some work and stuff online for you. Bye.